the message and you share it, because it's important right now in this time and space to have this information and to bring forth these abilities, and not to be afraid of having these abilities or allowing these abilities to come through. Don't force them on others. That's important. And you cannot just walk up to somebody and say, oh, I know this because of this. They have to be searching for it themselves, looking for the information. The information will come to them. So if you found this channel, that is part of your purpose. Because, yes, I am a part of the Galactic Council, the Intergalactic Federation, as well as a life form here on Earth. And I have been living many other lives at the same time, currently, which I have went back eventually in one of my transmissions I will share with you. But for right now, I'm going to share about Starseeds and their abilities. What does that mean? So being a starseed means, again, they either have come down to help in Earth right now at this current time and space, or they have been born. They chose to leave wherever they were at and be born into a life form to help bring forth these abilities and qualities. So if you think back to maybe when you were younger, like somebody said you had a daydream, or you had a wild imagination, or you couldn't focus, or excuse me, I got a little something on my throat going on today. Or if you had, like, you see things, or if you get like a premonition before it happens, or experience deja vu. If you have dreams that come to you and then they come true, or if you have dreams that stick with you and you're like, wonder what that means, that seemed very real. That could have been another life, or a life that you're living at the current time in conjunction with the life you're living now, is sending you a message. So everything has a message and is a relation to your current life, and it will help you through situations, through trauma, through fear, through guilt, through shame, the really heavy things that we carry. But it's time to awaken those abilities, or to acknowledge somebody for their abilities and allow it to come through so it can help heal, bringing healing to your human form in its current condition. And allowing that healing to take place will help you to release the trauma, the fear, the guilt, the shame, all that heavy baggage, because those were meant to be a lesson, not meant for you to suffer and carry through your whole life. And that looks different for many people. However, whatever that is, if you're tuning in, you have felt maybe you're in a really dark place or a low place and you're just searching for a way out. Continue that search. If you found this channel, that's great, because the messages that will come through are, even the darkest, heaviest situation has a loving message. It always, always has a loving message. You had to go through that experience in order to elevate you, to raise your frequency. You'll hear that a lot, raising frequency. What does that mean? So if you went through trauma, fear, guilt, shame, all the low, heavy energy, you're in a very low spot, so low vibration, low frequency. That whenever you start to realize why you did it, why that situation happened to you, why that traumatic event happened to you, then you realize there's a way out. Working on yourself, your inner self, loving yourself, allowing yourself to feel the feelings that you felt, that also acknowledging that there's better feelings that you can feel, and working towards that. And it will start with you. Nobody's coming to your rescue but you. You have to be your own guide. You have to be willing to do the work, to put it in. And if that means reaching out to somebody who has these abilities to awaken your own, or trying to bring forth your own abilities, you have to be a very strong person, and it might not be overnight. It might be overnight, but it might not. But you can realize these, and you can start taking those steps needed to work towards how you want to be be the light that you want to see in the world. Okay? So back to the star seeds. All of this is connected. Everything is connected. No matter what side trails we trail off in, it is all connected. I have seen it. I've been through it. And I'm here to share some of my experiences. And we're going to start this first transmission with my most recent session that I had did. So it's like a channeling session. What I've seen people do is channeling. But I went back, or I guess I went into the cosmic connection, the collective consciousness, and I had pulled forth information about star seeds. So I want to know, like, and I know that there are many. I've seen many. So I'm only going to talk about a handful today. Whatever we can cover in the next 10 minutes. And I'm going to tell you about them and some of their abilities. So I made a note, wrote it down, and now we're going to discuss them. Some of them that you may have heard or may not have heard, I'm going to tell the name of the starseed and then their mission and their abilities. I just made a little journal about what they are. So maybe you've heard Lemurian or Atlantean starseeds. Their mission and their abilities is they have healing powers, whatever that modality means. So whether that means knowledge, or if that means like energy healing, or if that means spiritual healing, they have healing powers. And a lot of these star seeds are going to sound very familiar, but it's what's needed for a time, at this time in space on Earth. So whatever one you resonate most with, that's probably where you came from. Or these are the abilities that you may need right now moving forward. And how would people know if they're a starseed? If these abilities sound like they resonate with you, like it's something you feel drawn to, that could be you. And what I do is I take people back their sessions. In my session itself, when I do for other people, I take them back and we discover where they're from or another life. Anything that will help them in their current life to remove all the negative things and raise their frequency. So the Lemurians and Atlanteans, two separate species that were on Pangea when the world was one, and they have and present healing powers, advanced technology. They use crystal energies. So crystal energies is the energy of crystals, which still remain in the crystals because crystals have a memory and can hold energy and information for long, very long periods of time. So a lot longer than any organic body ever could. They have clear vision of the future to create harmony, advanced spiritual connection. They are medically inclined. They teach advanced social knowledge, and then they are to guide humanity away from destruction. So the avian starseed, their mission is for guide for more spiritual connected life. They come from the energetic dimension, so it's a lot of energy. They may or may not have form in that dimension, but on Earth they teach metaphysics and spiritual truths to humans. They help you to work through limiting beliefs to allow for growth towards possibilities and achieve and manifest soul desires. To free you of bonds of technology and physical and negativity. So they try to lead you away from that because it's really hard on your physical body to sit there and be involved with those types of things, which is you can experience life how you want to experience life, absolutely, because it's part of your journey. So the Venusian Starseeds, their mission, they offer compassion. They teach unconditional love. They love of motherly love and fertility. They stand for growth, expansion, and life. They are self-awareness and the mastery of all aspects of life. So if you know somebody who's really good at everything or most things from the appearance, it's probably one of them. To teach love and compassion. And they're in the intergalactic and interdimensional beings who embody unconditional love. So they love you no matter what, through your hardships, your hard times, which is where the motherly instinct usually comes in. I know a lot of mothers are not that way, but it's usually referred to as a motherly instinct because of that bond. The mother produced the child, and whatever that mother looks like to you, they show unconditional love. Whether you've hurt them 100 times, they allow it, and they keep trying to pull you back and pull you in and close to them. The Polarian Starseeds, their mission is to study human organs and the dimensional extension to develop new structural systems that will serve as a blueprint for Earth, allowing it to flourish. To teach and to guide and to raise vibration, raising you away from that negativity, away from fear, away from trauma, away from guilt, away from shame. Go away from that. Realize what the lesson was, what the purpose was, why you did it, so you don't have to experience it again. Because if you didn't learn the lesson, you will experience it again. They are here to heal and raise the consciousness, to help souls connect to higher self. So they are implanting and or being born into what is called the hybrid children. But those children do grow up to be adults, and they've been doing this all since how we evolved from that's just how we evolved, period. Is because of starseeds. And then that's a different story. The Etherans, actually it was called, it sounded either like an H or an ETH, Etherans, as I'm remembering how it came through. The starseeds, and all of these starseeds are in the Andromeda galaxy, the Sirius B and A star cluster groups. So I did not know that information until I went through session and I pulled it out, but I'm sharing it with you here. So, and yes, I believe what I get through my channeling sessions, because, I mean, I see it whenever they show me the information. I can see it just like I can see this in front of me. That's how visual and how vivid those scenes are whenever they're telling me the information. So the Ether and Starseeds, their mission is to simply be love, light, and wisdom, to inspire others to follow their lead and help Earth to shift their operating systems from fear to truth and vibrate from love, unconditional love, and light. It might seem hard where you're at to find love, unconditional love, and light. No matter what your situation is, it is possible. And then I pulled the indigo, crystal, and rainbow starseeds. Their mission is to serve humanity selflessly in pursuit of consciousness, to have supernatural power. They may have telepathy, clairvoyance, they cleanse energy, and a service to humanity and support and growth. And then we have the light worker starseeds. Their mission is to work for light, whether that's lightening your load or bringing in actual healing light or just being a pathway for others. They're very unique from all different kinds of planets. And they don't have allegiances to a society, a planet, or a culture, meaning that they can tap into other star seeds, other missions, other, not in a bad way, in a good way, to help them out. And another thing is to help. They are called to help in spiritual evolution. They solely spread love, light, and goodness. They do not judge other civilizations or missions. They raise consciousness of Earth. Now, I have on here reptilian starseeds. A lot of people perceive reptilians as being bad, and many of them are. There are bad starseeds, yes, but that's what the Galactic Federation is for. They go and they monitor, watch, and assist in that area when needed. Mostly the Galactic Federation is part of a humanitarian, what we would interpret as a humanitarian mission. They go in and build structures and foundations, not to change that civilization or that species, just to add the knowledge that they already know and offer it to that civilization to build a foundation or a structure or help with what they're needing help with. And they assist. However, if there is negativity or somebody trying to take over a situation, a civilization, then they do help with that as well. So the reptilians, not all of them are bad. I've met quite a few that are very loving, very kind, very just pure, and very helpful. They bring love, they bring connection, they want the best. They want to connect with everybody, and they just want to be kind of like the social butterfly. And the ones that I've spoke with, channeled, are very loving. But I have done a session to where it was actually a little girl. She was 10, and she remembered it as a dream. So I was curious about this dream. So I went back in session. It's a hypnosis session. So whenever I went back, I had asked about this dream that she had. She said there was 3 yellow lizard-like aliens. That's a reptilian, a form of one. And then I said, really, that's interesting. I personally have not met any other conscious being that is not love and light. So that's why this intrigued me. So I went back and I said, she said that she met them in a hotel lobby that her and her mom were staying at. And I said, what was that? So her subconscious, the collective conscious, the cosmic web, the source came through and said, oh, that was a reptilian race that was banned. They had gotten out and they were hungry. They were looking to eat her. And I said, looking to eat her? How did they try to eat her, and how did they get there? They got there through a space portal. They stowed away on a spaceship that was going through a vortex and wound up where she was. But she said, her higher self said, but whenever she took that metal object away from him, I said, oh, what was that metal object? And they laughed. She thought it was a mirror, but it was actually a very sharp, long knife. And I was like, why did they need a knife? Because they were going to drink her like soup. And I said, oh, gross. I was like, well, then what happened? She was able to take that from them, and she scared them, but she took it and she would not allow them to have it. But after she took it from them, she felt guilty. So she went and made them a gift basket. Now, this little girl's only 10, and then she offered them the fruit basket instead. So she knew that they were hungry, so she was trying to feed them. She just didn't want it to be her. But she had to go through that experience to know that she can defeat them and that she can come through that whole experience. So whenever we were talking, I asked, how did they get to Earth? And they told about them being stowed away. But as soon as that event happened, the Galactic Federation is always watching. And they came after she gave them the fruit basket, and she had turned and walked away from her memory. They had came and collected them and taken them back to Nubia Z97. I said, what is Nubia Z97? That's a place where they are held. They have to stay on the outside of our system. And I said, how far is that? And they said, it's light years away. I said, oh, okay. I don't know how much light year is, so that's my understanding of that. So whenever I said, well, what are they going to do there? Well, they'll put there and they'll be under heavy guards. There's only one portal to get through that, and it's heavily guarded. Unfortunately, they were able to get through, but they won't this time. So, I mean, stories like that come through in session. I was just interested because it came through a 10-year-old little girl. And I was just like, wow. But that was her lesson. That was a situation she had to go through, and it scared her horrifically. Like, that's enough to bring it up to where we can go into her deep subconscious state of mind and find the answer. That being said, we did find the answer. And she was able to internalize that and go through the situation and rehear that information, all the information from their perspective, from her perspective, and from her higher self's perspective, and know that her higher self took care of it and removed them out of our star system, out of our time and space, and they're in a holding cell. So that was just exciting for me. Like, oh, okay, well, they're not still here. And then reassuring for her, like, it's something you don't have to worry about. So there are reptilians that are malicious, but there is things, yourself, your actions, as well as our higher selves looking out for us and helping us out. So I'm almost done. A few more. The Andromedon Starseeds. So all of these come from the Andromedon Starseeds because I went to the closest one to pull this information first because I always find it very interesting. I myself am a Pleiadian, and I've seen that star system. It's behind us. And whenever you are that star or that from that system, and you go back through these sessions or channelings, you can visually see it, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can smell it, just like your human senses. You can see it, but then you see it in your mind's eye, and you know that you see it. But it's not just seeing it, it's remembering it. And I love pulling that information. So, and that's why I am absolutely in love whenever I see this space. I am in love with it. So I wanted it as my background. Absolutely, because it was such a comforting, welcoming, loving connection once I seen that. And I don't want to let that go. There's also another connection that I had whenever I went to the 12th dimension. Does anybody know what that is? It's the dimension of Jesus and his spirit and the energy that brings. And that was also intense, and I absolutely love that energy. That'll be another segment that we talk about. But for right now, let's get back to Starseeds. So the Andromedan Starseeds, their mission is to bring light, peace, and love. They are a dimensional heart. They have high levels of vibrational energy. They're known as truth seekers. They realign themselves with the highest interdimensional version of themselves. They assist humankind in their evolution and raising frequency of planet Earth. So you might know people like this. I know that there's many out there. I don't want to be a name dropper, but also you can search for metaphysical. There's many things you can search for. I don't want to direct you away from my channel, especially if you're drawn to this channel. But many people are here, and in my view, my perception of the world, made up a word, perception. Anyway, is that I have all these people. I'm drawn to them. They're drawn to me, and they're in search of love, light, unconditional love, raising the vibration, raising frequency, bringing in healing power, giving healing power. All of this encompasses absolutely me and my group of people who seek me and or are seeking these kind of connections. We actually find each other. It's just a magnet and it just happens that way. It's absolutely phenomenal, and we think it's amazing, like a miracle every time that we're like, oh wait, we think the same. And when we recognize that energy, it's just really exciting, and it makes it just magnified. It's really something to see and to experience. So it's just like really so much excitement, so much love and admiration, appreciation, and you just share with one another your experiences, because not all of them, I guess, has been good, but whenever you share your experience, you're also going through and helping them, and they're helping you. Because when we talk about these and how did we get through it, how did they get through it, we're sharing the information, and our social and mental intelligence rises. That raises your frequency, that raises your awareness. Like, oh, I'm not the only one who went through that, or I'm not the only one who struggled, or I'm not the only one who experienced that or heard this story. As long as you're sharing that information in a space where it's well received and they want to share. A lot of people like talking about themselves, which is great because I like hearing it and I listen to them and I'll take that in. Because when we go into session, I ask all these questions about them because it's about them and it's about bringing healing to them. So, back to the starseeds, the Orion starseed. Interestingly enough, I just had a session with a person who has 3 little freckles on her toe. And she was curious. She said, why do I have that? And I was just like, interesting. So I asked about birthmarks or any strange markings on your body that maybe you want to know more of. Because the interesting thing is, I can't tell you why, but it's connected to you to remind you of something. And sometimes whenever you're reminded of it or you find the answer, it disappears. Not only that, but so she asked, why do I have these 3 freckles on my right toe? I was like, okay. And they said it was a connection to the Orion star seed race. And I said, huh, interesting. So then I said, well, what does the Orion star seed mission look like? They're here to help humans become aware of their own mind and spiritual growth, to help humans use their heart chakra to clean and clear it. A strong desire to ascend spiritually, as to go up, as if somewhere else is better. And Earth is very heavy, very dense, very traumatic. There's a lot of energy here, a lot of low energy, a lot of hopefully soon high energy. We're trying to raise it. And we are a team, a collective. There's many of us out here trying to do it, to bring light in, to bring love in, to help people get through their situations, whatever that may be. Excuse me. A strong desire spiritually during their time here on earth to help others do the same. And again, all these are very similar, very connected, but they're here with their own mission statement, their own purpose. Some of them are aware of it. Some of them think maybe that could be me, or oh, I want that to be me. If you're feeling that pull, that nag, it's probably you. Okay, so the Orion Starseed. They have important life lessons to open their heart. That means if it's important, that means it's a struggle, a trauma, a fear, something really big, and it's weighing heavy on you. Something you're carrying around and it's bugging you, and maybe you don't know how to get away from it. But that big lesson, that big experience is your lesson. It's what you're supposed to learn, what you're supposed to clear. And if you don't clear it this lifetime, you will clear it the next. Because Earth is a school. It's just here for lessons and experience, and not how we as humans view school. Those lessons are important, but it's the experience of connection, people experience, the human experience, the life experience, the social interaction experience, and how to get through situations and problems. Are we helping each other? Are we hurting each other? Experience. Earth school. That's all it is. And how you handle those situations, whether you're carrying it around as a weight and really heavy and low, or whether you're allowing yourself to acknowledge that was an experience and move higher. So the ascension. A lot of them don't want to be here, and this again falls for many of them. Because they want to return to their spirit, towards love, unconditional love, connection. It's safe. There's already a knowing. Whatever the thought is, there's already a knowing. And so what you need to do is teach yourself how to do that in this time and space, and allow yourself to be loved, allow yourself to connect, allow the information to come through in your mind's eye, in your imagination, in that space, in your dreams, whatever that may be, allowing it to come through. To seek pleasure in the human experience. They want pleasure and they want pain, because through the pain you will grow, because you'll choose either to stay there or you'll choose to get away from there. It's only for a short period of time for you to experience that and to learn a lesson, the purpose for that. And what did you learn from that? Understand that, and how can you grow and go in the direction you want to grow. Now, if you want to stay there and you want to continue to experience that, yes, they'll allow you to do that too, because you're here for the experience. That whenever you create a karmic debt or a negative debt, I don't necessarily know what karmic debt is. Like I've heard it and I've heard other people's interpretation of it, that whenever you do harm or damage or hurt somebody else and you physically, mentally caused it, you are now bonded to them and to that experience, and you will have to redo that experience until you're not attached to it. Because if you're attached to it through trauma, through fear, through shame, through guilt, those low frequencies, it will come back and you will have to face that person, that situation again. So try to undo any wrongdoings you personally feel responsible for, to help lighten the load. And if that means owning up to the mistakes that you have made, the injustices, the trauma, the fear, the shame, the guilt that you have caused, then do that, because the earth needs light, needs love to go away from the destruction, to be a part of the shift. So I do have a few more on here, but I'm going to tell another story. I have so many stories, and I keep saying, oh, I'll make another one. I should just tell you right now, because I'm thinking about it now. So I had a session with a guy, and he was a creator of worlds. And I said, oh, a creator of worlds, what does that mean? He said, oh, I'm creating the new earth. And I said, the new earth? So is it going to be called New Earth? No, it's not going to be called New Earth, but it's like a new earth, just so you understand. And I said, oh, okay, because I have a very simple mind. And that's probably part of the reason why I allow myself to choose and to channel and to do these sessions, is because I do have a simple mind, but I do have worldly questions. Anyway, so I said, what does the new world, new earth look like? And he said, oh, it's very colorful, it's very vast, it's very, like, he gave me all the details of it. And he said the colors are more vibrant. And as he was going on, I said, well, why are you creating a new world? He said, because there's going to be a shift. And I said, there's going to be a shift? What does that mean? He said, there's going to be a shift between higher frequency and lower frequency. It's the evolution of Earth, and we've done it many times, and we're going to do it many more times. But one Earth will stay low and eventually destroy itself. So we have to create a new Earth, so that way the light beings, the light consciousness, the unconditional love can come through, and they can live on that earth. And I said, so there's going to be two earths? Yes, for a short period of time. And then one will destroy itself. It's the evolution of earth. And I said, oh. I said, well, how will you choose who goes to the new earth and who stays? No, we won't choose. I am creating the earth. The people of earth will get to choose themselves. Those of unconditional love, light, connection, and wanting to sustain a healthy life for overall, for everything, encompassing the earth, time, space, their selves will come. And I said, how will they get there? I thought was a valid question. And he said, well, some of them will just know how to come, and they'll come. Some of them will be offered a ride, as in like a tour guide, I imagine. I don't know, I didn't ask. He said a ride. So some of them will get a ride. Some of them will come with friends. Some of them will know how to find their way. But if they don't maintain this frequency, they will be sent back, and it's harder to go back. He said, I've been back and forth a couple of times, but it's hard coming back to this 3D earth because it's so heavy. I said, well, what's the new earth going to be? Oh, it's 5D. And I said, what is 5D? Well, at first you'll be your human body, but then you'll move into a more lighter body. I don't know what that means. So I said, well, what does a lighter body look like? Well, it takes on many forms, which is often the case. There's never just one race, one right, anything. It's always a broad spectrum of life, of conditions terms. So I was like, oh, okay, I was okay with that, receiving that at the time. And I said, well, when will this take place? And he said, oh, in 2 to 3 years. I said, wow, that's amazing. And I said, well, how will people know? Well, they'll start to know because they bring in the light, they bring in the love, they share that with others, and they're giving and they're helping as best they can to the people who's ready to receive it at the level that they understand, just as they have received in the level of their understanding. I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. And he said, yes, I think so. And I said, well, when will you go to the new earth? Oh, I've been many times. It's almost prepared, and there are people living there now, and they're continuing to prepare it for more people to come. I said, wow. I said, well, is there a limited number? He said, no, but it is based off of love, of light, of the connection, and how much that you're willing to be in that frequency. I said, oh, okay. So it's interesting to me. So why I do sessions is to help people come away from the fear, the trauma. Not that, like, a lot of people that find me do not know me at all. I'm not on any kind of social media platform. So this is my only resource for communication. I do sessions, and I have my sessions private. Nobody knows unless I talk about it. So I finally kept wanting it to be perfect. Like, what would be the perfect? How can I just come out looking like a rock star? And again, in session, said it doesn't matter. You need to just start. It will get better. You'll learn as you go. And of course, I know that's true because I didn't just walk out of the womb being able to do this. I did exhibit abilities very early. However, they didn't come to fruition until I was about 19. So that being said, there's a level of progression to things. Some people realize it and know it. Some people want to know it. Everybody can do it. You have to want to, and you have to start to understand the processes, the experiences that you've been through are here to teach you, and pull the lesson from it or the purpose. And then once you do that, you'll begin to understand. And when you understand, you can transmute that negative energy into positive energy. Love, light, connection, acknowledging I experienced that. So whenever you do that, those connections and that transmission, then you're allowing yourself to heal. You're allowing your frequency to raise. You're allowing your vibration to raise. And even if that person or situation comes back at you, you'll look at it differently. Like, well, that's not happening to me. That's happening, and I acknowledge that, but that does not involve me. So I can, handle it differently. So energy cannot be destroyed. Cannot be. It can be transmuted. It can be transcended. It's a circle of life. Archangel Metatron, the giver of life. And just think of it in connection. If you've seen Archangel Metatron, which is a bunch of intricate circles, a lot of the churches here in Europe have it still in their windows, which I think is phenomenal. It's absolutely comforting to see that. And it's just rings that connect and keep connecting, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's the cosmic web. That's the life. That's the connection. That's the life force. That's what you achieve to see when you close your eyes. Because whenever you see the Archangel Metatron, the circle of life, the tree of life, I'm trying to think of all the names that it's called by many. Whenever you see that, all you have to do is allow yourself to connect to it, and the knowledge is there. Whatever question you have, it's there, and it comes, and you're able to articulate it at your level, whatever that is, to help others, to help yourself. More importantly, help yourself first. Because when you love yourself unconditionally, make mistakes and laugh at it, don't be so hard on yourself, and they see that, and it pays attention. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that was an experience, and she laughed at it, or he laughed at it, and acknowledge the experience for itself. Show up, just love yourself. Work on yourself first. And once you work on yourself and you bring healing to yourself, then you can help others. That being said, energy cannot be destroyed. can be transmuted. So you'd send it off. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a direct space where it goes. Away from you is the key. And you can put it back in there, or back to the ground, back to the hurting, aching earth that we are on right now. You don't. I create a fire, like a fire pit, and I'm like, okay, well, you need to go there, wherever that leads to, because the fire will turn into ash, and then the ash goes to the soil. The soil will then, it actually helps the soil, the ash. But that's my thinking of how it's transmuted. It will turn something bad into something good that will help the earth. That's how I internalized it. But it cannot be destroyed. It will be transmuted. So, you probably already knew that about energy, but that's how it works in you. Okay, so back to starseeds. We have the Lyran starseeds. So often they have like feline features. So like whether that's facial or whether that's their actions, which I think is amazing, because if you think of the feline species of how vast it is, that's pretty awesome. So besides for having features like a feline, their mission is to teach others about physical energy of the human form. Lyrans are here to share their knowledge and teach, to experience Earth's pain and pleasure. They're here to inspire others, to share wisdom from overcoming human experiences, to help us realize our true nature here on Earth. So if you see, whenever I went back through my channel session and seen them, they physically had feline, like a cat-like, a domestic cat head. One had a lion head. He was more of the Galactic Federation. But with spots, with stripes, they had little patterns on their head. And I only seen their head, but they're not, whenever I'm giving details, their head. But their bodies was humanoid bodies. So they had arms, they had a trunk, they had legs, and they had clothes, they had housing. That was very interesting to see that our star seeds that we come from and we're integrated with also live similar lives to us, as in they have jobs, they have connection, they work as a community. So it was very interesting to see for me whenever I seen it. The next star seed is Pleiadian. The Pleiades behind me, that star cluster right there, that's what it looks like. Very amazing, brilliantly white, blue stars. They're white and then they radiate blue. But they also, if you go in closer, there's life forms on there. And I was able to see that. So, their mission is to expand human consciousness so humans can begin to evolve to new dimensional beings and create a new and better Earth, to move humanity away from fear and separation and into or towards unconditional love, unity, and harmony here on Earth, to heal, uplift, and connect with all dimensions. And some of them dimensions are really heavy and really low. And whenever I connect with somebody who's been on a really low frequency for a long time, I have to step back a week at least and just take a break to re-energize myself. And I have to allow that process to, like, that wasn't me, that was them and their energy. And I do what I can, but it's not like I can bring them up to my level. I will try. I will do everything in my power and be the good influence and be do what I can to help them without doing it for them. Because if I do it for them, they're not learning anything. They're just staying in that low, heavy density. And I'm just enabling it at that point. So I can't do that. I just have to show them. And I do have people come and I'm sorry, my hair is attacking me. I do have people come and spend time with me so that way they can see the things that I do, the healings that I teach. I do sound energy, I do drum circles, I call in UFOs, we talk with ETs, we do sessions, we do channeling, we do energy healing. I have a large toolkit in my cabinet here, and I do show them because they're okay with getting a massage. They're okay with receiving a message from a loved one that's passed. They pick and choose what they're okay with. That I try to show them the broad spectrum of everything that is possible. But with their low, dense frequency, it just takes a lot out of me because I do love them unconditionally with wherever they are at. But to raise somebody's frequency from that low, it takes a lot. So it takes me a while to come back to myself and to recenter and to not necessarily clear that experience, but acknowledge that experience and bring myself back so that way I can come back to the next person who finds me and be my best self for them. Okay, back to Pleiadian Starseeds. They bring healing, teaching, counseling, artistic fields, and so much love to inspire others through their work and teaching. Wow, what an appropriate story right before that last one, eh? Yeah. Okay, so we have the Syrian Starseeds. Whoops, I'm moving around too much, but I'm reading from my book, trying to make a little bit of eye contact. So, Syrian Starseeds, their mission is to save the planet. They're peacekeepers. They maintain peace. They provide guidance to other souls in times of turbulence. They support the souls on their journeys to enlightenment, spiritual awakenings, a true beacon of hope. They are healers of chaos. So they prepare to help others in dire need. Help, not enable, help. And you also need to recognize that if you're helping somebody, and if it's a continued task or feat, and they're not willing to take steps in the direction to help themselves, you then become an enabler. And that's not good for either of you because it's taxing and emotionally draining and taking your energy and your resources. They have to be willing to acknowledge, hey, I need to make a change and start taking those steps, whatever that looks like to them. Okay, Arcturian Starseeds. Their mission is to innovate and accelerate development of the world towards a better future. We could use that right now. To advance technology, high vibrational energy field, very high vibrational. It's funny. Whenever I did that channeling, my husband said, whenever you were talking about it, it sounded like Avatar, the movie Avatar. And I said, actually, it kind of looked like it, honestly. It's but that just means there's been other people to channel and come up with this information. I was just it wasn't exactly like Avatar, but the things I was describing and the surroundings, the people, very much look like Avatar. They did not, in my vision, did not connect to the tree of life with their hair. But there is a tree of life, and I know that because I've connected to it. There is the information of the blue people with black hair. I've seen it. So, and he immediately went to, oh, I've seen Avatar, so that's what it sounded like. So that was interesting, his perspective. And honestly, all these civilizations have humanoid bodies, have life, have purpose, have connection, have life however that looks to them. And what was interesting is whenever I did the Starseed, specifically Starseed information connection, what had came through is no matter what species or starseed race we asked about, is that they all have a broad spectrum of species, and they even referred it to, just as on Earth, as you have many variety of humans, each species has many varieties of that species. Some good, some middle, some bad. And they all have different levels to that, whatever that is, in their existence. And I was just, I could see it. Like, they all showed up because they wanted to talk and they wanted to tell about their experience and share with me. And I said, we got to narrow it down. There's too many of you here. Because, yeah, it was like maybe showing up to church and everybody talking at the same time. A large event. It doesn't have to be church. And everybody talking at the same time is that, whoa, pick one. And then my higher self came in and said, all species, no matter what planet, what starseed you're going to ask about. See, my guides are really good. They kind of give a general spectrum answer all the time, just because you can't, unless you narrow it down to specific something that you're asking about. They are willing to tell me everything and anything and show the connection to me. And it's amazing for me, not so much amazing for whoever is asking the question to me. So, because they would be lost because they can't see what I'm seeing, but they have to narrow down the question in order to get the answer that they're looking for. So all the starseeds of that species showed up, like, oh, which one do you want to talk to? Do you want to know about me? Do you want to know about me? So the person asking me the questions did not narrow it down. I picked one, and it was the one standing in front of me, honestly. And I focused on a male. He was a muscular body, and his bottoms, he had clothing on, but I could see his physique, and he had black hair and this black ponytail and just the strong, very strong features for him. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to talk to you, because I picked that in my mind whenever the question was asked. So that's what I'm basing all of this off of, because all of them did show up and they were all just so happy. And it's kind of like fireworks when they're happy, but it's not really fireworks. It's kind of like smoke and it swirls. And my sessions are amazing. Anyway, my channeling sessions. So I have channeling sessions, and then I have sessions that I do for other people, 2 separate sessions. But also when other people go through their session, I'm able to connect with them and see what they're seeing. So that's a real gift. I love doing that. Back to the Octurian starseeds. Yes, they are blue with black hair. The ones that I focused on, again, many races within each starseed. So they have advanced technology, high vibrational energy field. Like, you can definitely feel them. They bring and access ancient wisdom to help with advancement of the consciousness. They're dimensional beings in relationship to reincarnation of humans. Interestingly enough, I have a daughter, one of my daughters. I have many daughters. One of my daughters is a starseed from the Arcturian people, which I thought was amazing. And she is here on her own mission, and she does possess otherworldly powers, and it's really amazing to connect with her. like we're from the same star system. It's just we chose to do this journey together and to help and support each other. So to help, and the reason why is to help humanity evolve, to offer, offer, sorry, I apologize in advance. Shamans, healers, they are often shamans and healers. Whether that's energy, whether that's medically, whether they just listen to people, so mentally, whatever form of healing. And believe me, there's a large spectrum. It's not only like doctors and nurses. Those are not to be disregarded at all, but there's many other ways to heal. And more importantly, it's better to heal your soul, your energy, yourself, whether it's physically, mentally. There's so many ways, and you can do that with sound. You can do that with talking, or maybe you can't talk. So people in your life would help you to do that healing. Okay, they can often be found in leadership roles. Okay, so that is my channeled session about starseeds. And the takeaway from that, again, was whenever I connected to my higher self as part of the Galactic Council. Now, whenever I go up there, I'm actually two different beings. So one is like a big fat slug who's very knowledgeable. Slug? Yeah. He's just a blobby slug looking thing, but he's big. I've seen him, and he has little eyeball antennae. I don't know what that is, but I related it to it being a slug, and that's what I said. So in my human mind, I'm still trying to put it together, even though I've seen it, of like what animal it was. But whenever we talk to I'm channeling and the question is asked, I know like that. And what I say is what it is. Because it comes just like a knowing. Like, I'm for sure this is what it is. The other one, I'm kind of like a holographic, beautiful, what we would perceive as beautiful. The slug might be beautiful, I don't know. For that civilization. I don't know. I just knew that I was very knowledgeable in both of these species, starseeds. And it's this crystal room, and there's this big orb in the middle of like how we can go and just view it, whatever it is, if people are asking. And then, of course, the collective consciousness, when a question is asked and something's wanting to be known, it just floats in. So whenever the question was asked, what their mission was. And their mission was to keep humanity together. Not all of humanity will survive. And here's my thing. I'm not afraid of death. I very much, I've seen myself in many lives, so it doesn't matter. Again, energy is not gone. It just regenerates. It relives. And for myself, I know that it's not just this one life I'm living. I'm living at least 8 at this time. I was able to tap into those lives and see them on Earth, as well as other spaces, as well as and you do live in other spaces as well, or could, and then the Galactic Council, so we could live those lives, but we go there whenever we need to meet, to bring together, to pull for unity, for connection, to share information, to give and to receive. And then if I'm also part of the Galactic Federation, which probably explains my military connection career in this lifetime, currently, which those experiences had a heavy part in me getting to the point where I am now. But yes, sorry, I got lost in the thought of being there for a moment. But the Galactic Federation is more of a humanitarian, what we consider humanitarian mission. So they don't enforce or impose their point of view, like you have to do this and do it my way because it's the best. They work together with all species, and they're like, this would work best for you. And then they're on a humanitarian mission to help build communities, structures, to build alliances. Some of them are just there to engage and just to be a part of the other. So it's very interesting seeing those types of things. And I've seen many, but my time is way over because I wanted to keep this at 15 minutes, and I did not stick to that. But I hope you enjoyed the content for your Transmission Tuesday information and knowledge. And I will look forward to seeing you next week in a new channeling and telling you about what was channeled.